Good afternoon, everybody. Phil Simons with Columbia Grain here, and your Friday afternoon weekly grain market recap. Well, we're going to dive right into it as we're definitely starting to see winter wheat harvest move into the northern tier of the U.S. So let's take a look and see what the market's provided us with here this week. So I'm going to share my screen with you again, and we're going to navigate over to our favorite website, columbiagrain.com. And in the upper right-hand corner, we're going to go to the Producer Solutions tab, which will take us over to the Producer Solutions link. So again, this week here, we actually started the week out on a future standpoint fairly positively as we were seeing some ratings kind of get reduced in terms of corn and soybeans. But we did wind the week with the futures complex down just slightly on the week here in corn and beans, a little bit more aggressively to the downside on wheat. But let's take a look and see what we were seeing at the beginning of the week. So when we look at the corn conditions, that were released on Monday, we actually are starting to see the ratings come down slightly from where we were last week at 68%, and this week coming in at 67%. So down 1 percentage point for the corn crop good to excellent conditions report. But again, when we take a look and see where that actually stands up with where we were last year, we're still 10 percentage points ahead of where we were last year at this time. So again, lots of time, lots of weather that we can continue to play into the corn conditions as we move forward. The other thing that we were looking at was the winter wheat percent harvested that was reported on Monday. The breadbasket of the U.S. is pretty well wrapping up, but we're just starting to see the northern tier of the U.S. Really get in the beginning of harvest, with Montana coming in at 3% harvested, Idaho coming in at 7%, and Washington State coming in at 10% harvested as of this Monday's past report. So again, please be sure to be safe out there as you are getting into harvest with everything going on. The other thing that we were looking at here today was actually the Wheat Quality Council's spring wheat tour estimates for the North Dakota wheat yield came in at 54.5 bushel to the acre, which would be sharply higher than the tour's numbers that came out last year, which was coming in at 47.4 bushel to the acre. And again, if realized, this 54.5 bushel to the acre would actually be a record production for North Dakota. So it's something to definitely continue to monitor as we move forward and what the potential end implications could be on the price as well. The other thing that we were looking at was Sovicon. They did raise their estimates for the Russian wheat crop just slightly. They brought it up from 84.2 million metric tons up to 84.7 million metric tons. So a slight increase there. But when we compare that to where the USDA currently has the Russian wheat pegged at, the USDA has Russian wheat crop coming in at 83 million metric tons. So when we look at that, the USDA is actually 1.7 million metric tons lower than where Sovicon has the Russian wheat crop. So again, potentially more world stocks of wheat and putting a little bit of pressure as we brought the week to a close here. But so let's go ahead and take a look and see what the price action was week on week. When we look at new crop corn, Dees corn had a weekly range of 18 cents. We're actually able to hold on to 5 cents of that weekly range and closed everything out with a net gain of 5 cents in Dees corn. We look at November soybeans. November soybeans had a weekly range of 46 cents, but we were only able to hold on to 8 cents of that overall range. And the majority of that of that loss of the range was actually coming in today's trade in same fashion with corn. So we did close the week out really more at the lower end of the ranges in terms of futures action. When we turn the page and we look and see what the wheat complex had, Kansas City, Kansas CEP, we actually had a weekly range of 34 cents. And the weekly net change, we actually lost 25 cents on the week there in September futures. Similar fashion in Chicago wheat, we had a 33-cent range. We actually closed the week out with a net loss of 22 cents. And in Minneapolis, we had a weekly range of 43 cents, closing the week out with a net loss of 23 cents in the Minneapolis futures. So again, really looking at what the overall potential supply is going to be in the world. And we did see that the markets reacted in kind to that, bringing prices down slightly to close the week out. So again, really just trying to highlight the importance of having your orders out there and working, and really for anything, for a cash contract, for a basis contract, for a hedge to arrive, for an accumulator. Maybe even take a look at some of the minimum price contracts. May not be a terrible idea right now as well. But be sure to have your orders out there and working to take advantage of these knee-jerk reactions that we continue to see in the marketplace. So be sure to get a hold of your local manager, your buyers, and your merchandisers, and get those orders out there and get them working. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and wrap everything up for the week here. I hope everybody has a safe harvest this weekend. And remember, the first 5 letters of broker spell broke. Have a great weekend, everybody, and have a safe harvest. We'll talk with you next week.